Hey guys, it's Jake here with eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at and I'm going to show you how to install the ComeUp ATV Winch on our 2013 Honda Foreman. This is going to be a great thing to add to your Foreman for those times where you might get your four-wheeler stuck or you need to pull somebody else out. To start here down at the bottom, you'll have a safety pull cord so that you don't have to risk smashing your fingers when holding the hook when reeling in your winch. And you're going to have a 1/4 inch thick steel hook on the end to give you more than enough strength to be able to tow anything out. And for our lead, we're going to have a synthetic rope rather than that traditional cable. It's going to be much more friendly on your hands, so you don't have to worry about wearing gloves when hooking up your winch. ComeUp went the extra mile and included a woven polyester sleeve that covers the first 6 feet of your full 50-foot length. The included fair lead is nice because you can pull it in any direction without having to worry about binding it up against the side of your four-wheeler. The winch is going to have a 3,000-pound weight capacity, which is more than enough to pull anything out that you might get stuck. It is recommended that you don't put this on a vehicle that weighs more than 1,500 pounds, but with our Honda, we're not going to have any problems. It is going to come with a wiring harness and a controller. This is going to be a toggle switch controller right on your handlebars, so it's a nice convenient location for whenever you need it. Now that we've gone over some of those features, let's go ahead and show you how we got it in place. To start our install, we need to start by removing the plastic guard on the front of our four-wheeler. There'll be a couple of snap pins here on the end, here, and here, and we'll have a couple of bolts to remove on either side of the front fascia here. To remove these, you're going to stick a screwdriver between the pin head and the base and just pry out. Now we can take a 10mm socket and remove these bolts. Now we can put our fingers behind our fascia here and pull it off. Set that to the side. We're going to have one more 10mm bolt to remove the lower skid plate. You'll have to remove your side panels. They pop off pretty easily, just like that. You'll begin your install with your solenoid. We put ours back here behind the battery. It's a nice safe place. It's going to be under cover. You don't have to worry about it getting dirty or wet. You're going to want to run your wires to your solenoid and bolt them to the top of your solenoid. There's going to be 4 power wires. 2 are going to be your positive and your negative to your battery, and then the blue and yellow wires are going to go up to the terminals on your winch. We routed our blue and yellow wires. We drilled a couple of holes right here in front of the battery, ran our wires down through it, and then ran them along the frame all the way up to our winch. We secured it along the way onto our frame with zip ties that are included in your kit. And you want to be sure to clip off the end of your zip ties to give it a nice clean look. Then we ran our wires down through in front of our radiator and down to our terminals. We chose to run it in front of the radiator rather than on the inside of the wheel well because we were afraid that if we put it on the inside of the wheel well, it might get damaged. Here you can see where we connected it to our positive and our negative on our winch, and I recommend running your wires up on the inside of this splash guard if you can, just to protect it. Here you'll see our Bulldog winch plate. This is designed to fit custom inside the cavity up here in the front of our Honda Foreman. This winch plate is sold separately, but it is available here at eTrailer. It's going to be a nice design that's going to keep your winch high enough to where you're not going to run into any issues of running into anything. Plus you have these extra safety supports on the front to protect it from hitting anything. You can see here on our splash guards for our radiator, we did have to take a pretty big chunk out to be able to fit our large winch in place. Now if you have a smaller winch, it may fit without having to trim these. So here's the ComeUp fair lead that's going to come with your winch. A nice feature about this winch plate from Bulldog is it's going to bolt straight onto the winch plate. So when your cover is back on your four-wheeler, you're only going to be able to see this mount. Next, we mounted our controller. We had to run this wiring harness all the way back to our solenoid, and then there's going to be a quick plug where you plug it in to the wiring harness on the solenoid. We routed it through and down and around the steering column Then we ran it back with the existing wiring that is on our four-wheeler. Then it's going to plug into our quick plug here on our solenoid. Our red power wire coming off of our wiring harness for our controller is going to have to be spliced into a ignition activated power wire. So we went ahead and took a tester and found what wire we're getting power from only when our ignition is on. That's going to be the black and brown wire on the inside of this wiring harness. We tapped into this by using a quick splice connector. These are available here at eTrailer. Before you reinstall everything, it's a good idea to test it out to make sure everything's working properly. Now with everything working properly, we can go ahead and replace any panels we had to remove. We cleaned up our wiring with 1/4-inch wire loom and some electrical tape. With our front guard back in place, this is what it's going to look like when it's all put back together. Well guys, with all that being said, that's going to do it for our look and installation of the ComeUp ATV winch on our 2013 Honda Foreman.